Okay, it's 3 o'clock. I learned yesterday at the town hall meeting, start on time and quit on time. So, thank you. I'm Dean Markinson. I'm the CEO for Fawcett Swanson Veterans. I'm sure you know that name. There are 2 Vietnam vets that were killed in action, didn't come home. Play the song, please.
Dear son, it's almost June. I hope this letter catches up with you and finds you well. It's been dry, but they're calling for rain, and everything's the same old same in Johnsonville. Your stubborn old daddy ain't said too much, but I'm sure you know he sends his love. And she goes on in a letter from home. I hold it up and show my buddies like we ain't scared of none, but the same buddy, and they all laugh like there's something funny about the way I talk when I say mama sends her best, y'all. Letters from home. My dearest love, it's almost dawn. I've been lying here all night long, wondering where you might be. I saw your mama and I showed her the ring. Man on the television said something, so I couldn't sleep. But I'll be alright, I'm just missing you. And this is me kissing you. X's and O's in a letter from home. I hold it up and show my buddies like we ain't scared of none, but the same buddy, and they all laugh, 'cause he calls me honey, but they take it hard, 'cause I don't read the good part. I fold it up and put it in my shirt, pick up my gun and get back to work, and it keeps me driving on, waiting on letters from home. Dear son, I know I ain't written, but sitting here tonight alone in the kitchen, it occurs to me I might not have said it, so I'll say it now. Son, you make me proud. I hold it up and show my buddies like we ain't scared of none, but the same buddy, but no one laughs, 'cause there ain't nothing funny when a soldier cries. And I just wipe my eyes. I fold it up and put it in my shirt, pick up my gun and get back to work, and it keeps me driving on, waiting on letters from home.
Please stay standing for the national anthem. Thank you. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Order. Colors. Mark time. March. Colors. Colors. March. Order. March.
Before we start the show, I'd like to give some credits who made this possible tonight. Well, naturally, Crossroads Church, Hastings, gave us these facilities to put on the show. Also, the other sponsors that I'm aware of is the VFW Cottage Grove and I'll probably pronounce it, the Flower Center just north of town, Xerix Garden Center Landscape, and there's probably a lot more that contributed because I asked them to send the direct checks directly, not through me. And also I have to thank the city of Hastings because they're the people that run the city and the community. Thank you, Mayor, for being a good mayor. That's the credits. Up here, so are you ready? Are you ready to start the show? Oh, where'd they go?
Right there.
It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. Do-a, 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 do-a.
No, it don't mean a thing. All you've got to do is swing. Do-a, 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 do-a.
It makes no difference if it's sweet or it's hot.
Just give that rhythm everything you've got.
No, it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. Do-a, 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 do-a.
Thank you so much for coming out this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Erin,
I am Dan.
and we are Letters from Home. It is our mission to tour the country and honor our veterans, our active military heroes, and their families by reviving patriotism through music for all generations.
And we are absolutely thrilled to be back at one of my personal favorite places, Hastings.
Ah, yeah! Please give a nice big Hastings welcome to the one and only, from Burnsville, Minnesota, Mr. Dan Beckman.
And from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, Miss Erin Dirk. Let's dance.
It makes no difference if it's sweet or it's hot.
Just give that rhythm everything you got. No, it don't mean a thing
wonder why.
Do-ah, 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 do-ah. Yeah!
Well, we are so excited to be here this afternoon. Thanks so much for steering clear of the Vikings game to be here with us.
Again, we are Letters from Home, and we take our inspiration from the performers and the performances of the USO. Now, the USO got its start in 1941 with the intention of sending busloads of entertainment to all the army camps east of the Rocky Mountains.
And soon the USO became the official entertainment of all the men and women of the United States Armed Forces. In fact, during its peak in 1945, the USO was performing over 700 shows per day.
Between the years of 1941 and 1947 alone, 7,000 different performers put on 500,000 shows, and they reached audiences of over 173 million people, which is pretty good for a startup.
Those were the entertainers of the radio, stage, screen, even vaudevillians and concert performers who all just wanted to show their support of the troops.
During World War II, some of the headliners you'd have recognized were people like Bob Hope and Judy Garland and the Andrews Sisters.
During the Korean War, you'd be entertained by the likes of Jack Benny and bombshells like Marilyn Monroe.
Calm down, sir. It's a family show. And then Vietnam rolled around and rock and roll reigned king, and we had sirens like Janis Joplin and bands like Creedence Clearwater take the stage.
So the names and styles have changed throughout the years, but the USO stands strong even today in entertaining our troops worldwide.
Now, this next song was first made famous by Les Brown and his band of renown, and it became known as the unofficial theme song to the end of World War II. Gonna take a sentimental journey. Gonna set my heart at ease. Gonna make a sentimental journey to renew old memories. I got my bag, I got my reservation. Spent each time I could afford. Just like a child in wild anticipation, I want to hear that all aboard. 7, that's the time we leave. 7, I'll be waiting up at heaven. Counts every mile of railroad track that takes me back. Never thought my heart would be so dirty. Why did I decide to roam? Gonna make a sentimental journey, sentimental journey home. Hey, you ever feel like you just walk in circles?
Every camp.
I said at 7, that's the time we leave. 7, I'll be waiting up at heaven. Count every mile of railroad track that takes me back. Never thought my heart would be so yearning. Why did I decide to roam? Gonna make a sentimental journey, sentimental journey home. Yes, I'm making that journey home. Yes, I'm making that journey home.
So the lyrics to this next ballad were actually written by Staff Sergeant Barry Sadler in honor of Green Beret James Gabriel Jr.
Gabriel was the first native Hawaiian to be killed during the Vietnam War. He was executed by the Viet Cong on a training mission on April 8th, 1962.
So many men and women who made it back from Vietnam never received that warm welcome home that they so much deserved. Fighting soldiers
put silver wings on my son's chest. Make him one of America's best. He'll be a man they'll test one day. Have him win the Green Beret.
Now we would like to say thank you to all of you in this room who may have served or be currently serving in the United States Armed Forces. When you hear the song of your branch, please stand and be recognized for being the true heroes that you are.
Beginning with the United States Army. First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might, and the Army was rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won, and the Army goes rolling along. And it's high, 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 hey, the Army's on its way. Oh, how of the King is loud and strong. Wherever you go, you will always know that the Army goes rolling along.
The United States Marines.
From the halls of London's Newport to the shores of Tripoli, we fight our country's battles in the air, on land and sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marine. The United States Navy. Anchors away, my boys, anchors away. Farewell to college joys, we sail at break of day through our last night on shore. Drink to the foam until we meet once more. Here's wishing you a happy voyage home.
The United States Air Force.
Off we go in the wild blue yonder, flying high into the sun. Here they come, soon to meet our thunder. Allen boys, give her the gun. Down we dive, spouting our flame from under. Off with one hell of a roar. We live in fame or go down in the flame. Ain't nothing can stop the U.S. Air Force and the United States Coast Guard. So here's the Coast Guard marching song. We sing on land or sea, through surf and storm or howling gale. I shall our purpose be. Semper is our guide, our fame and glory too. To fight, to save, or fight, to die. I, Coast Guard, we are for you.
Thank you all so much for your service to our country. One of the things that we've come to realize in our travels as Letters from Home is that politics and patriotism are two very different things. This next song was originally written for the musical Chess, and it is sung by a man who has an undying love for his country.
No madness, though their sad powers may prevail, can possess, conquer my country's heart. They rise to fail. She's eternal, long before nation lines were drawn. When no flags flew, when no army stood, my land was born. And you ask me why I love her. Through war, death, and despair, she's the constant. We who don't care. And you wonder, will I leave her? But how? I cross over borders, but I'm still there
was an only child all the way from Hoboken, New Jersey. In 1945, during the height of World War II, he attempted to sign up for the United States Armed Forces at the age of 25, but he was rejected because of a punctured eardrum that he had sustained at birth. But this rejection really fueled Frank to put such an emphasis on his performance career that you could always count on him to perform at USO shows and even on the Armed Forces radio for the troops. And you know, Frank made this next song popular in the 1940s, but then it was made even more popular by a young man named Nat King Cole in the 1960s. And it taught the world how to spell the word love. And when some people are in love, they might blush a little bit. Are you a blusher when you fall in love? Yeah, I thought so. Or they might swoon. How about you, ma'am? Do you swoon? She's swooning right now. You're a lucky guy. But you know, when I'm in love, I don't actually swoon. I don't even blush. When I'm in love, I tend to just kind of move around my shoulders a little bit like this. L is for the way you look at me. O is you're the only one I see. B is very, very extraordinary. It's even more than anyone that you adore and love. It's all that I can give to you. Oh, love, it's more than just a game for two. Two in love can make it. Take my heart, but please don't break it. Love was made for me and you. Ah, Mr. Coast Guard, on the front row. You know, don't think I haven't noticed we haven't been making eye contact this whole show. And you know, I've got to know something. I've just got to know. Can you move your shoulders like this? Oh, that's fantastic! Oh, I love it. Hey, how about you two? Let's see you guys. Let's Let's see some shoulder action going on. Whoa, that's great. And it's far away. You look at me. You've done this before, haven't you? Oh, it's you're the only one I see. That's great. You guys over here. He is very, very, whoa. That is extraordinary. Need you for. It's even more than anyone that you adore and love. It's all that I can give to you. Oh, love. It's more than just a game for two. You guys, let's see it. Do you love me? Take my heart, but please don't break it, okay? Love was made for me and you. Okay, everyone, all together. Let's see those shoulders bouncing up and down in those chairs. That looks great. Good job, guys. I said love, it was made for me and you. Good job. I gotta tell you, they're a rockin' bunch.
And a young crowd, too, you know, I can tell.
How?
Usually during this song, there's a bunch of pops and cracks.
Good point, good point.
Didn't hear a thing.
They're younger than our usual audiences.
I'm gonna try on the thing.
You mean in 1935?
Uh-huh.
There was a young man by the name of Cab Calloway who wrote a song about a woman named Minnie that was later inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame.
The song was, not the woman.
True.
But see, Cab Calloway actually got by on, yes, his own talents, but also on the talents of his audiences, because Cab Calloway's audience was very well versed in what's known in the business as scatting.
But we're in Hastings, Minnesota.
Uh-huh.
Everyone in Hastings, Minnesota knows how to scat too, am I right? Ooh. Well, they can dance, they can jig, I bet they can learn.
Just listen to it and you'll know just when to come in. Ladies and gentlemen,
The story of Minnie.
now here's the story about Minnie the Moocher. She was a low-down hoochie-coochie. She was the roughest, toughest frail, but Minnie had a heart as big as a whale. Heidi, 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 Heidi.
Heidi, 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 Heidi.
Holy, 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 ho.
Hody, 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 ho.
As she is swinging out.
Heedy, heedy, heedy.
Heidi, 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 ho.
Heidi, 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 ho.
She messed around with a bloke named Smokey.
She loved him, though he was cocaine.
He took her down and down to Chinatown.
And he taught her how to kick her down around. Heidi, 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 Heidi.
Heidi, 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 Heidi.
Whoa, whoa.
Heedy, heedy, heedy.
She had a dream about the king of Sweden.
He gave her all
All the things she was needing. He bought her a house built of gold and steel, a diamond car with platinum wheels. Hi, 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 hi. Howdy, 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 ho. Scooty-boo, scooty-boo, scooty-boo-ly-boo-ly-boo.
say you all are the greatest audience I've ever encountered in my entire thespian career.
You said that at the last show.
Yes, I did. But this time I think I mean it.
Really?
Yeah, there's something you should know about me. I was not blessed with silver tongue or the heart of a lion. In fact, I'm very shy.
Shy is not one of the
Very,
top
very
10
shy.
words I would use.
I think that through the power of song, I can finally express to you all how I really feel.
Well, I wish you would try.
At words poetic, I'm so pathetic that I have always found it best, instead of getting them off my chest, to let them rest unexpressed. I hate parading my serenading as I'll probably miss the bar.
In church.
But if this ditty is not so pretty, at least it'll tell you how great you are.
That's so nice.
You're the top. You're the Colosseum. You're the top. You're the Louvre Museum. You're a melody from a symphony by Strauss. You're a Bengal bonnet, a Shakespeare sonnet. You're Mickey Mouse. You're the Nile. You're the Tower of Pisa. You're the smile on the Mona Lisa. I'm a total wreck, a worthless check, a flop. But if baby I'm the bottom, you're the top. And you know it,
You know what? At words poetic, you're not pathetic. On the other hand, Dan, you shine. And I can feel, after every line, a thrill divine down their spine. Now, gifted humans like Vincent Youmans may think that his song is bad. But for a person who's just rehearsing, well, I gotta tell you this, my lad. You're the top. You're Mahatma Gandhi. You're the top. You're Napoleon Brandy. You're the purple light of a summer night in Spain. You're the National Gallery. Your marble celery. You're
You can
cellophane.
see right through me.
You're sublime. You're a turkey dinner. You're the time of a derby winner. I'm a toy balloon that is fading soon to pop. But if baby I'm the bottom, you're the top.
Chicken, wait a minute.
Oh, let me see. You're the top. You're a dancing Molly.
Come on, give me time.
Oh,
Let's see.
that's
You're a hot
I
tamale.
too much. You're an angel. You're simply too defeat. You're a Botticelli.
You're Keats.
You're Shelley.
You're Ovaltine.
You're romance. You're the steps of Russia. You're the dance on the Roxy Usher. I'm a lazy lout who is just about to stop. But baby, I'm the bottom.
But if baby I'm the bottom,
But if baby, I'm the bottom, you're the top.
oh, Aaron,
What?
I have more to say.
Oh, you always do.
You're the best, you're the top. You're a Caesar salad, very fishy.
Well, you're the top. You know what you are, sir? You're a Berlin ballad. And you're the boats that glide on the zippy Cider Sea.
You're a Nathan Penny, you're a Bishop Bang,
You're broccoli. It's so good, though. You're a prize. You're a knight at Coney.
you're the eyes of Irene Mortimer.
I'm a Polaroid, a worthless doll of flow.
But if baby I'm the bottom, you're the top. You're the top.
Oh, man. Dan, I'm glowing.
You are, actually, yeah, you are. You're glowing profusely.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? It must be the lights or
Hey, I
something.
think there's a hose back there. Why don't you go? For all of our sakes, just
Every
rinse
good
off.
trick has a hose in the dressing room. Oh,
Yeah,
there it
well,
is.
she's right. It is kind of a sweaty show, but gotta be honest, I don't think it's because of the heat. I actually think it's because of you, ma'am. Is it just me, or have you and I been vibing since the minute we walked in the room? That is not an answer. Were you thinking yes? I feel like you were thinking yes. What's your name? Judy, like the dame? Judy Dench? Judy, the things you do to me, I'm trying to rhyme. Point is, Judy, I knew we'd meet here today, and please, come with me. And I figure, as a romantic, I should prepare something to... I figure, well, that's the show, ladies and gentlemen. Judy, I figure, please, come here. I figure that as a romantic, I should prepare something to show you just how I feel. And, well, I've done just that. Go ahead and sit. Please, let me take it from here. Wise a man say, only fools are rushing, but I can't help falling in love with you. You seem tense. Relax. Just a little bit here. Shall I stay? Is that too hard, too soft? Only fools are rushing. I know what you need. Lean forward for me. Here you go. For I can't help falling in love. I'm still with you. Please. Like a river flows surely to the sea. Are you hot? Okay. Darling, so it goes. Some things, Judy, are meant to be. Sorry. So take my hand. Take my whole line. There you go. That's how we used to do it, huh? For I can't help falling in love. Judy! Show wasn't free enough. Like a river flows good, surely to the sea. Darling, so it goes. Some things are meant to be. So take my hand. Are you as comfy as I am? Take my home. Love, you're a bird. Fly to. For I can't help falling in love. Okay, I got literally lost in her eyes for a second. Hold on. For I can't help falling in love with cats. You. Judy.
Dan, I told you you were going to find true love in Hastings.
Look at her, she's bite-sized. I need to stick her in my carry-on.
Oh, that's great.
Thank you, Judy. Give her a round of applause.
Man, I love it. I love it.
And don't be fooled by these chairs. They're masquerading as a couch.
Oh, I thought so. Well, you know, most of you probably went to church this morning. You know, my pastor actually told me the most incredible story this morning I wanted to share with you about a party that happened in heaven last week. I don't know if you heard about this, but basically everyone was there. God invited Jesus, he invited all of the saints. Even Satan made an appearance, which, you know, they thought they'd be hospitable. It's the new year. They wanted to try to see what happened. And, well, anyway, Jesus and Satan got into a huge argument about technology of all things. And they were arguing so hard about who was better on the computer. And they just kept going back and forth and back and forth. And God finally said, listen, we're going to have a test tomorrow. We're not going to talk about this at my party. You both come back, and I'll have a test set up for you, and we'll see just who's better on the computer. And so they agreed that that was a good idea and came back the next morning, and they sat down, and God said, all right, we've got a 2-hour test. There's going to be a lot of things on this test, and by the end, you will know for sure who is better at technology. Well, he started the timer, and they went at it, emailing and sending reports and faxing and scanning and doing all of these things that you do on the computer, completing task after task after task, and all of a sudden, about 10 minutes before the end of the task, vroom, the power went out. And then the power came back on, and Satan was disappointed, and he looked at his computer, and he's like, this is terrible. We're going to have to start all over. And Jesus just kind of smirked and kept going about his business. And Satan looked over at Jesus' computer, and everything was still there. And Satan said to God, that's not fair. All my work is gone, and all of his is still there. He must have cheated. And God said, no, no, Satan. Jesus doesn't cheat. Jesus saves. I'm gonna live till I die. I'm gonna laugh instead of cry. I'm gonna take the town and turn it upside down. I'm gonna live till I die. They're gonna say, what a gal. I'm gonna play for them all. Ain't gonna miss a thing. I'm gonna have my fling. I'm gonna live till I die. Those blues I lay low, I'll make them stay low. They'll never tramp over your head. I'll be a devil till I'm an angel, but until then, hallelujah, gonna dance, gonna fly. I'll take a chance, flying high. Before my time is up, I'm gonna fill my cup, and I will live, 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 live until I die. Those blues I lay low, I'll make them stay low. They'll never trance over his head. I'll be a devil till I am an angel, but until then, I'm gonna dance. Hallelujah, gonna dance, and I'm gonna fly. I'll take a chance, flying high. Before my number's up, I'm gonna fill my cup, and I will live, 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 live until I die. Until I die.
Sorry, I don't want to derail the show completely here, but I was texting backstage my sister's husband. My sister's been in labor for the last like 30 hours, and she just gave birth to twins. And this is awesome because I've never been an uncle, so I'm excited for that chapter of my life. But also, she lost a bet to me last year, so I get to name both kids. Yeah, so, yeah, she gets it. There's a boy and a girl, and I think I have them both figured out. I want to run it by you guys for the sake of it, but the girl, I think I'm going to name Denise, and the boy, I'm pretty settled on the nephew. There's no sister, there's no babies. It was all a lie. But look, I'm now in the Vietnam garb, and that's because we're transitioning into that era. Now, Letters from Home actually started as an idea of Aaron's father, who is he's a late U.S. Coast Guard veteran of the Vietnam era. And as the story goes, they were sitting around on one Sunday night having dinner together, and Pat said, Aaron, you should use your talents to construct a show to honor veterans. And so immediately after that meal, they got out all of his old records. They listened to the Andrews Sisters and Bing Crosby and Frank Sinatra and all of them. And Aaron put together a show called Letters from Home. Now, it started as an Andrews Sisters tribute group, and it grew over the next 10 years to kind of become what you see today. And it's taken her and myself and several other people all over the country. We've been to something like 41 states. We're trying to hit all 50 by the end of 2021. And last year, we actually had the opportunity on June 6th to go to Normandy, France for the 75th anniversary of D-Day and perform on Omaha Beach with our World War II veterans, which was an incredibly special and humbling experience. Aaron's father has since passed away, but we've started a fund in his name called the Packed Earth Veterans Performance Fund. And all of the donations we receive and all of the CD sales, we have CDs back there for $15. Every cent of that goes into this fund. And this fund allows us to travel all over the country and go to places that necessarily we wouldn't be able to otherwise. Places like retirement communities and VA hospitals and veterans homes and things like that. Places where they can't get out and sometimes the sunshine has a little bit of trouble getting in. So that fund is essential for us to get around to do what we do. So if you want a CD after the show, come pick one up. You'll take a little piece of us home with you, but you'll also be putting a smile on a veteran's face somewhere in this country. Now, as I mentioned, Pat was a veteran of the Vietnam era, and I think the Vietnam era was starkly set by, it has a soundtrack, right? The whole era has a soundtrack, and I think that essential to that soundtrack is one band in particular, which was formed by 4 schoolyard boys, Stu Cook, Doug Clifford, Tommy Fogarty, and John Fogarty, who got together, started playing instruments, and they made a band that they called the Gollywogs.
But then, about a year later, they decided to change their name after some controversy within the group, and they changed it to the Blue Velvets.
Oh, very good. And years went by, and they signed with Fantasy Records, and just before they hit international acclaim, they changed their name one final time, and they became... It's Creedence Clearwater.
I thought they'd know that one.
Now, is it me, or did Creedence have this uncanny knack for making songs about the apocalypse sound cheerful?
Good point. I know you know this one.
I see red moon rising. I see trouble on the way. I see earthquakes and lightning. I see bad times today. Well, don't go around tonight. It's bound to take your life. There's a bad moon on the rise. Come on, girls, hey! And I can hear the hurricanes blowing. I know the end is coming soon. I feel there are rivers overflowing. I hear the voice of rage and ruin. Well, don't go around tonight. It's bound to take your life. There's a bad moon on the rise. All right. Woo-hoo! Woo! Hope you have got your things together. Hope you are quite prepared to die. Looks like we're in for nasty weather. One eye is taken for an eye. Well, don't go around tonight. It's bound to take your life. There's a bad moon on the rise. One more time. Well, don't go around tonight. It's bound to take your life. There's a bad moon on the rise.
One young patriot who loved his country joined the U.S. Air Force in 1950. He brought his guitar with him. He spent a lot of time playing music, entertaining his bunkmates, his troopmates, his galley mates, and passers-by. And after he retired from the military, he went on to have, it was a career in music of sorts. He had a couple of hits. He's not very well known. He kind of flew under the radar, but his name was Johnny Cash. You've heard of him.
Well, you know why they've heard of Johnny Cash, don't you?
Huh.
Johnny Cash is actually from Hastings, Minnesota.
Nah.
Johnny Cash actually went to church right here.
Nah.
This morning.
Nah.
And he stayed. In fact, he's still here. I swear I saw him in the back. It's him. It's Johnny Cash.
Look
I
at that.
can't believe it's you. Come on up, Johnny. This is amazing.
Look, it is the man in black.
Let's give him a nice big hand. I can't believe it's you, Johnny.
Johnny, I have to say, it's an enormous honor to have you here. And I don't know if you remember me. I came to one of your concerts in 1964. I was a very young man then. I was a very, very, very young man then. Do you remember me?
I knew it.
Okay, that's cool.
Well, have a seat, Johnny. This is such an honor. I can't believe it.
You met me after the show and you actually gave me your guitar. You remember that? Yeah, okay, good. Well, I know you weren't expecting this, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm sure we would all love to hear just like one of your old hits, maybe.
Oh, that would
Do you
be
think-
amazing.
Do you think that's something you can do? Just see what you can do with that, and see if any of the old stuff just comes out. Give it. I forgot you were a lefty. Give it a try. See if anything comes out.
Oh, wow, you're so
That's
good.
amazing. I never believed you, huh, Johnny?
We got married in a fever, hotter than a pepper's crowd. We've been talking about Jackson.
Well, it's a fine way now. I'm going to Jackson. I'm gonna head around. Come with me? Yeah, I'm going down to Jackson. Now, Jackson town.
Well, you gone down to Jackson. Go ahead and wreck your
Look at
head.
this technique. It's amazing.
You play your hand, you big talking man, make a big fool of yourself. You go on to Jackson,
I said I'm going.
big talking man.
Oh, yeah, honey, I'm a snowball. Jackson.
Jackson,
Uh-huh.
we'll see if we can.
When I reach into that city, people gonna stupid and foul. All that lady gonna make me figure what the girl know how I'm going to Jackson. Hey, turn loose my coat.
You're not even wearing a coat.
Yeah, I'm going down to Jackson.
Goodbye, that's all she wrote. And they'll laugh at you in Jackson. And I'll be dancing on the pony train. They'll be round town like a Soviet hound. With your tail tucked between your legs. You go on to Jackson. Big talking man.
Yeah, that's me.
And I'll be waiting there in Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
Behind my tape and fan.
Come on, Johnny, bring us home.
We got married in a fever, hotter than a pepper's crowd. We've been talking about Jackson ever since the fire went out. I'm going to Jackson, and that's a fact.
He remembers.
Yeah, I'm going down to Jackson, and never coming back.
One more time.
You know that we got married in a fever, hotter than a pepper's crowd. We've been talking about
Jackson, baby.
yeah, I'm going down to Jackson.
Johnny.
Johnny Cash, ladies and gentlemen.
Johnny Cash. Thank you so much. And Johnny, I think I speak for all of us when I say your older stuff is better.
All right, Johnny, come on down. It's a higher step than you might think. Give it up for the man in black one more time. Woo! Now, in the 1960s, when more troops were being sent over to North Vietnam, miniskirts were all the rage in the United States.
Hasbro Toys noted the success of the Barbie doll, and they manufactured their own version for boys, which they call the G.I. Joe action figure.
The United States Department of Transportation was created. And the Gemini 10 space mission launched and was completed successfully.
The Anchor Bar in upstate New York created the very first buffalo chicken wing.
And the price of gas skyrocketed to 28 cents a gallon.
And in 1967, a very talented young man lost his life in a tragic plane crash. But not before he wrote, recorded, and released one of his most beloved songs, a song which I believe teaches us that peace can always be found in the company of others.
Sitting
'cause I got nothing to live for. Looks like nothing's gonna come my way.
Now we'll just come sitting on the dock of the bay,
Watching the tide roll away.
sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time.
Looks like nothing's gonna change. Everything just seems to stay the same.
And I can't do what 10 people tell me to do,
So I guess I'll remain the same.
sitting here resting my bones, and this loneliness won't leave me alone. 2,000 miles I roam, just to make this dock my home. Now we'll just go sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. There's something happening here. What it isn't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there, telling me I've got to beware. I think it's time we stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down.
There's battle lines being drawn.
Nobody's right if everybody's wrong.
Young people speaking their mind, getting so much resistance from behind. It's time we stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down.
What a field day for the heat. 1,000 people in the street, singing songs and carrying signs. Mostly say hooray for our side. It's time we stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Paranoia strikes deep. Into your life it will creep. It starts when you're always afraid. You step out of line and come and take you away. You better stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down.
What's that? You love classical music and action movies? I thought I heard you say that.
That's what I thought I heard too.
Well, you'll love this story. Apparently, Arnold Schwarzenegger had this idea for a action movie where he and his buddies all played like butt-kicking classical music composers, right?
That's a good idea.
And as the
That's
story
really
goes,
good.
Arnie goes over to Sylvester Stallone's apartment where he's living with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Roommates?
It was the 80s. And he gets to the door and he kicks it down. And he walks through and Arnold says, "You guys, I have an idea for a movie. I think we're starting in one side." And Sylvester Stallone, of course, responds, "Ollie, every time you come over, you gotta kick down my door. We're all interested. Just want to go." And Jean-Claude says, "Oh, ho, ho."
That's enough impersonations for one afternoon.
Okay. Well, anyway, he says, "I want to make a movie where we all play action hero classical music composers." And the men love the idea. They jump to their feet. Jean-Claude says, "That's a great idea. I am going to play Rachmaninoff." And then Sylvester Stallone says, "Cool. I'll play Beethoven." And they both look over at Arnie and they say, "Arnie, who are you going to play?" And he just says, "I'll be Bach."
amazing it is when we get to share in things like this today, because there are so many people out there that don't get to really experience amazing things like this. Look at this beautiful quilt up here. Isn't that amazing? Dean gave us, oh, Dean just left. But thank you, Dean. Dean gave us that quilt right before the show, and it's just something that we're gonna take with us on tour, and it's absolutely unreal and beautiful, and we're just, we're so grateful for it.
It's pretty real to me.
Yeah, and It's beautiful to see this kind of care and something that goes into something that's going to keep you warm at night. It seems like lately, anytime we turn on the television or the radio or open up our Facebook pages, there is just all of this outside bad news and negativity. It tries really hard to get into our homes, and sometimes it does, and it gets into our hearts as well, and the hearts and the homes of our family and our loved ones. But I have to tell you that we have such a unique privilege as Letters from Home, because we do get to tour this entire country and this world, and everywhere we go, we find awesome people just like you guys that the media is just not usually talking about.
And there's a reason for that, I think, and I think the reason is just that right now, bad news sells.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're semi-addicted to negativity right now. So there's a lot of outgoing negativity and a lot of incoming negativity. It's sort of a vicious cycle, but it is just a spin. It's just a selling point. It's not an accurate representation of what's going on all the time. If you were to take all the bad in the whole world, all the violence and the bigotry and the bullying and the hatred, and you were to stack it all up into one big pile, you took all the good, all the joy and the charity and the family and the togetherness, and you were to pile it all up, and you would compare those piles, you're going to find that the good outweighs the bad every single time. I promise you that.
So true. And so don't get too discouraged the next time you turn on the radio or the news or go on Facebook, because we see it every single place we go with our own eyes. There is just so much more good in this world than evil. There is so much more positive and happiness and joy than you'll ever hear about on the news. And we live in such a beautiful country. And I am so, so proud and grateful to be an American.
Amen.
If tomorrow all the things were gone I'd worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my family by my side, I'd thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause that flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the ones who died, who gave that right to me.
And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today,
'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
from the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, and from sea to shining sea.
From Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA, when there's pride in every American heart, it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the ones who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God
give, I think, give them a round of applause for coming to Hastings. Thank you. Up here, you saw a mention of the Quilts of Valor and our nation's colors that the community Hastings has presented to them for coming and entertaining us. Every year at the Leduc Mansion, we hear some words of Abraham Lincoln to honor the soldiers that sacrificed their lives in order that the government of the people, by the people, for the people shall not perish from earth. Were spoken at Gettysburg, but these words apply as well to the countless soldiers that died for the cause of democracy in the following 150 years. I'd like to read some words about this quilt. The mission of Quilts of Valor is to cover service members and veterans touched by war with comfort and healing quilts of valor. Quilts of Valor volunteers throughout Dakota County donate their time and materials to make this quilt, one per. Quilts of Valor is a quality-made quilt, not a charity quilt. A quilt of valor had to be quilted, not tied, which meant hand or machine quilting. Quilts of Valors are awarded. They can't be passed out like magazines or videos. Quilts of Valors say unequally, thank you for your service, sacrifices, and valor in serving sacrifices and valors in serving our nation, country, county, and the community of Hastings in combat. Therefore, it is resolved, we have the honor today of presenting you our national standard, the flag of the United States, to your worthy organization, Letters from Home, on this occasion, and then entertaining the state of Minnesota, Dakota County, and the community of Hastings, and also thank you for the Minneapolis Veterans Home, entertaining them. It's further resolved, the military, veterans, families, and children, thank you from the bottom of our hearts, as without Quilts of Valor and the Letters of Homes, we would not be here today. It is further resolved that this is not about the call of duty of just doing your service, support and honoring, as your recognition is overdue. It's further resolved, I would like to recognize all the families and the children that serve, because they serve too. To your wives and your children, thank you for serving. I'd also like to give special thanks to some of the people that is helping us with the publicity and continuing it. KDWA 1460 AM, and also Hastings Community Television Station, which I always like to say is led by, take the hype, Mike. Last note I'd like to say, for y'all that don't know, I just purchased Wass's Homes, and like to invite you, anytime it says open, stop in for some coffee and a drink, maybe a treat. So it's a place, just like you said here, that we can chit and chat and we can find comfort and work together. So thank you all for coming today. God bless you. That's the end of the show.